What's up, everybody? Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we're talking about Gmax Lapras, one of the most hyped Pokemon, or at least one of the most hyped Gmax Pokemon introduced with Season 3 here, upcoming in March 1st. This will be added to our ranked ladder. This will be added to our VGC rule set. You'll be able to use this Pokemon no matter what you want to do in VGC in March 1st, and that's pretty exciting. This Pokemon, I'm really excited to see it in competitive play. I think it's really good. It's one of when the game first came out, we saw all the Gmax Pokemon. This is one of the ones that everybody was like kind of worried about, and then it was banned, and everybody was like, all right, cool, whatever, we'll worry about it later. And now it's here. It is finally here. 9 days away, we can use this Pokemon and other Pokemon like the Kanto starters, Incineroar, Gmax or Beetle, Grimmsnarl, some others. Almost all. There's, I think, like 4 or 5 Gmaxes we can't use now, which is not very many. I think soon they'll all be in the game, and yeah, I'm pretty hyped to see all of what this game has in store. You know, all of the Gmaxes, see exactly how powerful they can be in competitive, and really see what this game has for us. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So Gmax Lapras is a water ice type Pokemon. Really good stuff. Resistances to ice water, which isn't that great. I mean, it's good, you know. Super resistance to water because of our ability Water Absorb. Water Absorb healing us 1/4 whenever we're hit by a water type move, making us a really, really good switch in on water type Pokemon, as well as just being good. You know, things like Surf, boom, you heal. You know, Muddy Water. Milotic has been favoring Muddy Water a lot recently, so this kind of, you know, counters that, which is really good because Milotic is going to see a lot of play here soon when Incineroar is in the game, officially in March 1st as well. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Weaknesses: Electric, Grass, Fighting, and Rock. Overall, not that bad, you know. We have a lot of things. No 4x weaknesses, which is good, and our max attack sets Reflect and Light Screen. So, I mean, you gotta really damage us to your opponent won't be damaging us too much, is what I'm saying, pretty much. That's why we're using weakness policy, so we can get those screens up, not take that much damage, and then just start doing huge damage out to our opponent, which is really, really good. I think things could move up in the meta, things with Brick Break, things like Raichu, Brick Break. Conkeldurr has Brick Break access, so does Rhyperior. All these Pokemon might actually end up using Brick Break to break through Gmax Lapras's wall of both screens immediately. You can also always play something like Vanillix or Alolan Ninetales as well to accompany it, making Aurora Veil. However, then if your first few turns are kind of just destroyed by a Brick Break, that would kind of suck, but it'd be how it is, you know. Sometimes things just happen. Anyway, into our stats. Stats are really solid across the board. HP 130, super bulky, defense 80, and special defense 95. All really good stats there. Really bulky overall. You know, you max this Pokemon, you set both of your screens with your one attack, and then weakness policy kind of just does its thing. We just start dealing huge damage. You can always opt to use Assault Vest like I have right there. However, I just like weakness policy. I like the idea of doing a lot of damage right off the bat, especially since this Pokemon's relatively slow. You know, your opponent will be like, all right, we'll hit him with a Rock Slide or you know, a super effective attack. You just don't take too much damage. You set screens right after, hit weakness policy, hit a lot of damage, and it's really good. And we have damage calcs, of course, and if you want to skip right to that, we have it in the we have timestamps in the description below. So if you want to go around, jump around in the video, that is there. And yeah, special attack is 85, not too bad, not too great. However, with weakness policy, it's really powerful. If you want to invest into special attack, you by all means you can. But that's our singles build. We do have single spotlight today as well. I got it cleared up for me that Gmaxes are allowed in singles. I didn't know. In Smogon they're not, but in actual singles they are, like on ranked ladder and stuff like that. And I'm not sure what is typically used as the singles rule set. I think it's Smogon typically because, you know, anything held by Pokemon is VGC, and then anything held in singles is usually in Smogon format. So yes, anyway, we have singles for that later on in the video. If that's what you want to see, we have timestamped down below. Anyway, into the actual build. I've rambled long enough. into the build. So Water Absorb is our ability. I already talked about that briefly, giving us that really powerful switch into water type attacks. Also covering our bases for multi-targeting water attacks is really good. Being able to heal up on this Pokemon, healing 1/4 is a lot of heal, and in singles that's crazy. You use a team that likes that water resistance, and then you bring it in, and then you're just like, boom, maximum damage, maximum heal, let's go, let's get it. Anyway, for our item, we're using weakness policy. You can actually opt to use Assault Vest as well. You could also use something like a Pinch Berry, a Guave Figgy. There's one more, a Guave Figgy, something else. I have Pop Berry. And then you could also use like Citrus Berry or something. I like weakness policy. I think it's the best one, in my opinion. However, you can definitely opt to use any of the others. This build is going off of weakness policy. If you don't, it's not going to be doing much damage. All of my damage calcs say, all right, we're doing a good bit of damage, but it's after weakness policy proc. Before weakness policy, not an insane amount of damage. But, we're not invested into special attacks, so that's going to happen, We're invested into bulk. So, anyway, into our actual move set here, we have Freeze Dry, Sparkling Area, Thunderbolt, and Protect. All of these are switch outable. There's a lot of really good moves on this Pokemon, a lot of really good stab moves. You can definitely opt to use different things. I just really value that accuracy, so I'm going with Thunderbolt instead of Thunder, and Sparkling Area instead of Hydro Pump or Surf or anything like that. I just am valuing single targeting, decent damage, and high accuracy, and I think it's really good. However, you are Gigantamaxing this Pokemon, so you can definitely just use Hydro Pump instead of Sparkling Area, and you can definitely use Thunder instead of Thunderbolt. All of these are even Blizzard instead of Freeze Dry if you want. I like Freeze Dry. I think this Pokemon will definitely last through all of its Gigantamax turns a lot of the time, and also it has that Thunderbolt to be able to max Lightning so that your opponent can't yawn you or Sleep Powder you, unless they're faster, but only like Butterfree, and Butterfree's falling out of grace a lot of them, in my opinion, and what I've seen. We've seen Butterfree falling out of grace a lot, definitely trending down, and yeah. So Thunderbolt is a good option. Anyway, into our other options here, we also have Ice Shard, Icy Wind. Both of those are really good. Ice Shard giving you that priority attack, which is really strong. Icy Wind providing some speed control is pretty solid as well. Blizzard hitting multi-target, especially if you go the Vanillix / Alola Ninetales route, setting that Hail and then Aurora Veil and then double Blizzard could be really, really detrimental to a lot of teams. Really, really powerful stuff. We also have Hydro Pump, which is just a very high damage stab water move that you can use over Sparkling Area if you want. Like I've said, I value that accuracy a lot. And then we also have Perish Song. Things like Gothitelle Perish Trapping is still in the meta. It's really cool. It's not super used, but it's a pretty sweet strategy that we have with Gmax Lapras, that you have with regular Lapras. You can use that instead of Protect if you don't need the Protect. It gives us max guard while we're maxed, and that's the biggest reason we have Protect, because we are opting to just Gigantamax probably right off the bat with this Pokemon. Setting screens is really, really powerful. And then we also have some other options here. Life Dew. This is pretty good. It just gives us that little bit of heal, which is good. Self-healing on a really bulky Pokemon is pretty solid, and especially with things like weakness policy. You set screens, you don't take too much damage, you're doing a lot of damage, and then you Life Dew, and you're looking pretty solid. Life Dew doesn't do that much. I think it's 1/4 between you and your partner Pokemon. Let me see here. Life Dew heals the user and its allies by 1/4 amount, which is like not bad, but it's not as good as like Recover. But we don't have that as an option, so it is what it is. And then we also have Sheer Cold, which is just Oko. I don't like this, but we've seen Horn Drill on Assault Vest Excadrill at the beginning of the format, and I definitely think that's an option that is notable enough to write down here. And then we also have Surf as our last one. In multi-targets, that's pretty solid. And yeah, that's it. You can also run Gastrodon on your team and then Surf, and then you get your Storm Drain boost, which is pretty cute, but it's only really cute. You can use it, but it's okay. And to our build, we actually have HP 244 invested, defense 140 plus invested because we're bold, giving us that plus defense minus attacks. We don't have any attacks any physical attacks. And then special defense, we have 124 invested. This is the most used on Pikalytics. I haven't used regular Lapras, and we can't use Gmax Lapras just yet. So this build will definitely form or definitely evolve throughout the meta. You know, with your screens, you can definitely damage calc a lot of things and kind of just switch up your stats. You're definitely able to change them, is what I'm saying. This is just a good starting place if you want to test this out on Showdown or test it with your friends while you're waiting for this Pokemon to be legal to play on ranked and play in big events. And yeah, it's just a solid starting build. It gives you a lot of bulk across the board, just giving you a good bit of bulk to live a lot of attacks. And once you set up screens, you know, everything is like halved. So all of our damage calcs today are actually going to be without screens, even though we set double screens. It can be stopped, and it can also, you could also just like die before it, which is like definitely an option, definitely a possibility, but it's a low possibility, and I you know, that's good. Anyway, onto our synergetic Pokemon. So we have Incineroar. It covers our grass weakness. Incineroar provides a little bit of Intimidate to buffer our opponent's strength a little bit, making things a little bit weaker, and then letting our Gmax Lapras set up screens, you know, with Intimidate, Snarl potentially, and that's pretty good. And also setting up Fake Out can really help just stop something right off the bat from getting into our Lapras, and that's pretty good as well. Also, another good thing to mention about that synergy is the Gmax Lapras has Max Thunderbolt or Max Lightning to take out Milotics, you know, especially if we're weakness policy. If our weakness policy is activated, then we just do a lot of damage to Milotic, which is really good. And Milotic is one of the biggest fears of Incineroar, and yeah, that's pretty good. Being able to cover that weakness is really, really nice. And then we also have Rotom Cut, Rotom Mow, whichever one you want to call it, Rotom Mow. It provides us a lot of resistances and just coverage against the weaknesses and resistances. So Rotom Mow, you know, it resists electric and grass, and then it's neutral to fighting and rock. So that's not bad across the board, you know, really giving us that buffer to our entire Gmax Lapras team. Also notable that it resists ground, which is a big weakness of Incineroar. Not a big weakness, but it is a weakness of Incineroar. So if you use that squad, that also provides us a water, fire, grass core, which is pretty, you know, reliable. Just pretty good in general. I like that core. I think that's a core that I may start with if I opt to use Lapras, Gmax Lapras, so that's cool. And then we also have Chandelure. Chandelure provides us Trick Room, which is good. Gmax Lapras can work in or out of Trick Room. Honestly, being very slow, you know, it's only 80 base speed, which is pretty low, and you can definitely opt to just go more into speed and then go Tailwind, or no speed and go Trick Room, or even just Tailwind with no speed. You know, hitting 160 outspeeds a lot of the meta, so using Tailwind on this team could be good, or Trick Room, either way. And then we also, it provides us that fire damage that's good against grass. It also provides us Ghost typing, which is immune to Brick Break. So if your opponent is going for a Brick Break, you can switch around and go for a Chandelure, protect from the Brick Break. You just keep your screens up, and that's looking pretty solid. Then for one fear that we have, not really a big fear, but more of like a kind of sucks matchup, Raichu. It has access to Brick Break, which will break our screens. It's also super effective, you know, running that electric move set, hitting our Lapras for a big damage, setting off our weakness policy. However, if, you know, it can deal a lot of damage is what I'm saying. It also covers our Max Lightning if they want to bring out the Raichu and then set up a form of sleep on our Lapras. There's not really much we can do about that. You could run Lumberry on Lapras maybe, but I really value that weakness policy. So that's just a matchup that you may see. Since it has access to Brick Break, it might come up in the future, and running that Lightning Rod to stop our Max Lightning could be pretty powerful, and then they yawn us or sleep us, and, you know, we're just like, oh, that sucks. Anyway, that's going to be it for that. We're going to go ahead and talk about our speed tiers here. So as far as our speed tiers go, we are at base 80 speed, or we're at base 60, but 80 with our IVs. We're on the same speed tier as a lot of good Pokemon: Jellicent, Galarian Weezing. Can't say that. That was really hard for me to say. Why was that so? Anyway, Grimmsnarl as well, and then Sylveon, and that's it. There are some other Pokemon that are on that, but these are the most relevant of them: Jellicent, being the most relevant, I think. Grimmsnarl as well, Sylveon. We may see the Grimmsnarl G-Max potentially offensive. I made a video on that, so if you want to check that out, go check that out. But I don't think that the G-Max Grimmsnarl will always be offensive, but it'll usually be uninvested in speed, in my opinion. And so yeah, it'll be on the same speed tier most of the time. Jellicent also will either be min speed a lot of the time, which would mean it's down around 60, and then we also have it a lot of builds will be a little bit faster so that it can function under Tailwind as well. That was something we saw on the first place Dallas team from Aaron Trailer. I think it had like 44, or no, it only had 4 speed. I actually still have that pulled up. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that had 4 speed, so it would be at 81, so it would be outspeeding us, but, you know, whatever. And then things that do outspeed us, Tyranitar, min speed, or not min speed, uninvested, so it's at 81. That's pretty unfortunate, honestly, but there's nothing we can really do about it. We can definitely invest like 12, and you'll see that in our single spotlight. Actually, there's 12 investment into speed, just to outspeed uninvested Tyranitar. That's the meta, the pro play. Anyway, other things that outspeed us, form change Rotom, always. This is hindering. I don't even know why I put that up, actually. I didn't even see that it was hindering. It was uninvested. I was thinking it was uninvested, but it hits over 100 uninvested. Form change Rotom will always outspeed us. It'll never be hindering. Even if it is hindering, it still outspeeds us. So no matter what, form change Rotom is outspeeding us. I don't even know why I put that there, but oh well. And then we also have Gothitelle uninvested at 85, always outspeeding us. If it's min speed, it'll be down at 65, and we'll then outspeed it. However, it'll most likely set Trick Room if it's min speed, so then we won't outspeed it after Trick Room is set. So, yeah. And then we also outspeed certain things. We outspeed Scrafty at 78 and Supersize Gourgeist at 74. I usually wouldn't put this up, but after yesterday's showing at the OCIC, the Oceanic International Championship, we saw a lot of Gourgeist on screen. However, most of them did opt to use Trick Room, so it's probably min speed, so we're probably outspeeding it no matter what. However, it's there. I didn't like it. I didn't think it did really anything. It kind of just got, like, killed. It kind of just sat there for a while and then died. But I'm sure, like, obviously people that are, like, 5-0 at a international aren't playing it for no reason. You know what I mean? It definitely has a reason. So, yeah. Anyway, good stuff to the people that use that. That's cool. Also, OCIC is this weekend. It's happening yesterday, today. Time zones are all off, so it was 10:30 in the morning yesterday when I was watching it for them, but for me it was like 7 p.m. So, yeah. Yeah, tune in at some point, but I'm going to be doing a meta-analysis from that, and that'll be, you know, up in the next couple of days, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one of those days. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. Anyway, that's going to be it for our speed tiers. We're going to have some calculations now. And as far as our damage calcs actually go, they're pretty weird. So all of them are not screen calcs. So this means that if we successfully get our screens up, then we're going to be taking 50% less damage, which is really, really good. And this, so I haven't actually gotten confirmation on G-Max Lapras yet if it's less than Reflect and Light Screen. It might be like Aurora Veil where it says 25. It definitely could be. So I really don't know off the top of my head. If you do know for a fact, comment it down below, please. So then we can know if it's Aurora Veil or if it's screens. And then you can opt to use Grimmsnarl. If it sets Aurora Veil, then you use screens, Grimmsnarl as well, and then you just take no damage. So yeah, if you know that, comment it down below. Anyway, onto the actual damage calcs here. So Dynamax Life Orb with Dynamax Life Orb Rockfall Max Invested Adamant is doing 43 to 50% damage into our G-Maxed form. This is pretty good. That means he has a very, very slim chance of even knocking us out on a 2-hit KO, which is really, really good, especially since we set screens, some form of screens, Aurora Veil, maybe actual screens, we don't know. I don't know. You guys might know. If you know, tell me. Anyway, so we don't take that much damage, and then it sets off our weakness policy, and then we return attack them, and then our weakness policy Hailstorm does 45 to 53%, also not doing an insane amount of damage, but then we set up screens and we don't die to the next attack, and then we get to attack, and we should have a pretty solid matchup against the Excadrill. Tyranitar also doing a good chunk of damage, doing pretty similar to that, unless we set off their weakness policy and then they're killing us typically. But if not, then our weakness policy G-Max Geyser into the Tyranitar in Sand does 52 to 61%. However, if it's not Dynamax, we OHKO guaranteed, which is really, really powerful. Our next calc is Max Geyser into an Incineroar, hitting 109 to 129%, giving us a guaranteed OHKO into a very bulky Incineroar, into a very bulky Special Defense Incineroar, 236 HP and 236 HP plus being Calm Nature, giving them a really bulky Special Defensive Incineroar. I don't know if this is the way it'll be played. This was just the default on the damage calc, so it could definitely be wrong. However, we knock it out really, really convincingly at that percentage. +2 G-Max Geyser into Rhyperior. This shouldn't really come as a surprise. We kill it 126 to 149% of its life, even Dynamaxed. So we definitely just win that matchup as well. You know, it definitely does a good bit of damage with Max Rockfall, but overall we do a lot of damage. And then our last calc is Leaf Storm from Rotom C into our Lapras, doing pretty good damage, 93.4% chance to OHKO, or to 2-hit KO. However, if it Leaf Storms, it'll lose that 2 stages of special attack, and then it won't be able to 2-hit KO our G-Max Lapras. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's going to be it for our damage calcs. I'm going to go ahead and move it along, jump into our single spotlight. Our single spotlight is pretty quick. It's a very similar... No, it's not very similar, actually. It's pretty different. So we're going kind of all-out attack. Here, we're using choice specs instead of any kind of bulky item or the weakness policy. Just being able to choice specs, do a lot of damage right off the bat. We're still valuing that water absorb, especially in singles. It's a little bit better in singles since you have that water immunity, and you can switch in, heal up, and then hit some really heavy hitting attacks, which is really good. Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, all just 4 attacks, no BS there. We just attack really, really hard, and that's it. So into our investments, we had 244 in HP. We had to take a little bit away to give speed max here, just moving that 8 away, putting into speed, or not speed max, speed at 12 so that we can outspeed opposing Tyranitar that's uninvested, and then also 252 into special attack, giving us that modest nature, or 252 plus, giving us that modest nature of plus special attack and minus attack since we have no physical attacks anyway, and we want to be doing the most damage possible. So that's kind of the whole idea of this Pokemon. We also have Vanillix to set up Aurora Veil. However, don't use it if we set Aurora Veil. That's something I should have learned before putting up this video, but oh well. Tell me in the comments if you know. Somebody knows. I believe in you. I believe in somebody. And then Mamoswine as well has that ground typing, so it gives us an immunity to electric type attacks, which is really good. And then Darmanitan also just deals huge damage and can easily take down things like Ferrothorn that would threaten us and wall us out with Flare Blitz. Things like Flare Blitz destroying things like the Ferrothorn, Bronzong, Pokemon Steel typing that are just obnoxious. And yeah, so that's really it for this video. Hopefully you liked it. G-Max Lapras I think is going to definitely make an impact on the meta somehow. I don't know if it'll be insanely used right off the bat. You know, a lot of Pokemon we thought were going to be way insane, things like the Snorlax, and then it kind of just fell out of the meta. You know, nobody really used it too much at first, or even at all. So, yeah, you never know. But this is one of the most hyped Pokemon to come out of this update, especially out of G-Max Pokemon. This and Grimmsnarl I think are the 2 strongest, and then Orbeetle I think is really cool, and a couple of other ones. Anyway, that's going to be it. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe, and also check out 2 videos ago my giveaway. Go to my channel and check out the giveaway. If you're new, subscribe, like, comment on that video, and then you can win a Funko Pop. If they were in the vicinity, there they are. All 3 pops there, baby. You get to choose one. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give one away. And then at 15, we're going to give a second one away. And then at 2K, I'm giving the third one away. And so, yeah, definitely check out the channel. Like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And thank you so much for watching. If you have any other guys that you want to see, any other guys from the new update, definitely comment them down below. And I'll try to make a build. All right, thank you so much for watching, and bye.